My name is MJ Vilches, and I am going to be doing a 2D animation session. Just doing like a quick 2D animation in Blender, just to kind of show to my fellow Bilibili animators how to like do 2D animations in Blender. So yeah, what we did day one, which is I just introduced them to like the layout of Blender, the interface, the 2D animation layout specifically. I introduced them to the interface, introduced all of the different panels, explained it all. And there's a part in my previous stream where this part was covered. So I have to explain that part again. And yeah, I am joined here by fellow Bilibili creators. There's Sir VincinityPH, Miss Nerdy from NerdyStudios, Jay from Jstudioph, and we're probably gonna have to wait for Sir Pedro animation here. He's probably switching to mobile. Yan na si Sir Pedro. So here we are back in Blender once again. This is the 2D animation workspace. By default, Blender will just give this to you once. If you like go back to the splash screen, you open Blender in the splash screen, then you press this 2D animation file. You know, it's new file. It gives you like templates for different like workspaces, or you know, when I say workspace, it's like how each of the panels are like arranged, because Blender has like templates for each workspace. So there's of course 2D animation workspace. There's a 2D full canvas for like drawing, but I always like doing the control space and you know expanding it that way anyway, just easier. Also yeah, there's a bunch of other workspace, but we're gonna be doing a 2D animation here in the 2D animation workspace. So the scene that I'm actually thinking about here, let me do a sketch. I'm gonna create a new layer. So I went to the object data properties here, which by default, if you open 2D animation, it should already show you all of this like this. And this only happens if you like, you know, this will only appear, like I said in the previous part, this will only appear if you selected, you know, the a 2D grease pencil object, because each object has different object data properties. So it changes depending on what you select, like what object you select in your scene. Anyways, I'm gonna save this. Actually, that's the first thing that we need to do. I'm just gonna save it as day 2, because this is day 2 of the session. I am planning to do, I'm actually like thinking about doing this as a monthly thing. Like I will stream stuff like this or do sessions like this every month in Blender. And it's going to be about different topics in Blender, like 2D. We are also going to do some 3D character, probably. I don't know if you guys are okay with something like that. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna create a sketch layer here by pressing plus and then renaming it sketch. And I'm just gonna sketch out my plans here for the scene that we're gonna be doing. So I'm just gonna go with a simple scene. A simple scene. There's going to be like a hill here, and then our character will be like kind of walking up that hill. Not gonna be too animated, just you know a few frames. So a character walking up that hill, and then revealing a big like Bilibili logo. Camera, there's going to be like a parallax motion where camera is gonna be coming from like, you know, it will show the character right there on the left, I mean the right corner of the screen. It will pan up and then it will reveal. We're gonna pan up and then move forward, following the character walking up the hill, revealing the Bilibili logo. So that's my plan for this scene. First, of course, we lay out, you know, we do some sketches. We can even probably do some animations as well for this. So I'm just gonna go, maybe I'm gonna start by just creating this sketch, and then I'm gonna go grab the line in edit mode. Like I'm selecting and looking at this on a 3D space, by the way, you know, like how I showed on part 1. And I'm gonna move the character forward, and I'm gonna move the Bilibili sketch backwards. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep working on this, and then if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I'm gonna try to answer that. To start drawing, Miss Nerdy, you can, if you have to make sure that you select stroke. The stroke is selected here, and then you go switch to draw mode here.
Opo, ganyan po.
So,
Nakaganyan.
pero anong nangyayari?
Walang lumalabas. Tapos ano din yung pen.
Baka nakapindot ang control. Kasi kung naka-draw mode ka, then pen selected. Kung pinutin mo ang control, tapos nag-drawing ka, you can also erase. So hindi mo na kailangan palitan ng erase tool. So kaya siguro nagre-reklamo siya kasi napipindot ang control. Siguro habang
Hindi naman.
Kasi kung walang naka-drawing yata dito and then press control, yeah, see I'm having the same error. Kasi walang naka-drawing and then napipindot yung control habang nagdo-drawing ako. Yun ang error na lumalabas.
Wait lang, ano nga bang control dito?
Chat mo na lang dito.
Yung command yata yan sa Mac. So yun ang cause
natin
kung
yan.
napipindot ang control.
Ayun na! Ay na!
Okay, there you go.
Talaga naman.
So ano ba ang susundin mo lang ba ang...
Napindot ko nga pala talaga yung control button dun sa baba.
Sa Mac, I think command yata ang tawag sa control button sa Mac. Command button.
Command. Hindi, may control din.
May control rin? Okay.
Okay, so mga nanonood, alam nyo na kung ma-experience.
Yeah, if you experience this error, you're probably pressing control while trying to draw. Let's keep going then. Susundan mo lang rin ba yung scene na gagawin ko?
Yes.
Okay. So, as I said, it's a hill. We're gonna draw a hill here. And in a moment, I'm gonna teach you how to draw strokes in like different like spots, like different three spaces. Like we can draw a stroke like right here, right there. What?
Yung nag-change yung yung view.
Pindutin mo itong mga buttons na ito.
Yung
This is how you rotate the view. Itong gizmo na to. You can just use it. Yeah, you can see it on your screen. And then ito ang zoom. And then ito ang pan. And ito ang toggle camera view. Like pinutin mo, it goes camera view. And then pwede mo lang...
Ang paka-toxic. Ang pakahirap ng part na yan pagdating sa 3D.
yeah, but just keep using Blender and you're gonna get used to it. It's gonna be like muscle memory kind of
Wala ba siyang shortcut?
Merong shortcut na button, but since tablet si Miss Nerdy and mostly sa shortcut na tablet, ito ang pinaka mas easy para sa kanya. Pero yeah, if you have a keyboard, you can, if you want to go like front view like this, because you got front view by pressing Y, front and back view, and you'll know if it's front or back by looking at this text right here. Siguro I should probably make the background grayish here so you can see that. There. So front, orthographic. Here, we're in front, and if we press Y again here, it becomes back. So, alam nyo ba kung ano ibig sabihin ng orthographic? So, orthographic, it's so difficult to explain. Like, honestly, it's so difficult to explain. But yeah, there's like two types of view. There's perspective and orthographic. So, if you look at the screen right now, siguro mas madali siya makita kung meron akong cube dito. Para siyang isometric view, I think is the easiest way to explain it. Alam niyo yung isometric? Yung parang sa Bondi na view? Alam niyo yung Bondi? Alam niyo yun, di ba? Sikat yun.
Basically, 3D person.
So, perspective is like how your eye sees...
Your eye sees things.
And orthographic is more of a like 2D like representation of a 3D space. I think is how, I don't know, it's so difficult to explain properly or to explain it in like layman's term, in a term na yung hindi familiar ang iba. But yeah, it's like, if it's so easy to see the difference by just looking at it. So that's perspective view, and that's orthographic view. And orthographic, you mostly see this on like games and stuff. That are
so platform mga ganun.
But yeah,
Tsaka mga
we mostly use orthographic when looking at front view, especially for 2D, because since we are only working on like a 2D like look, orthographic is probably the perfect
Yeah.
view for it. So now I'm going to teach you guys how to like draw, like even we're just using one stroke, one 2D animation or 2D grease pencil object. We can actually draw strokes in different like spots in 3D space, and there's a way to do it. And we're only gonna do it for sketch. Actually, this is only for the sketch part, because if there's different elements on a scene, I like to make different 2D grease pencil objects for each element. Like there's a 2D grease pencil object for this hill, and then we're also going to have a separate 2D grease pencil object for the character, and then a separate 2D grease pencil object for the Bilibili logo that we're gonna be drawing here soon. So yeah, I am going to start by just doing a sketch of everything. In order for you to to draw in different spots in 3D space, kasi baka gusto nyo rin na hindi na papalit-palit ng ang grease pencil object. What you can do is first you need to enable the 3D cursor. You need to make it visible, and to do that you need to go to overlays right here, this one, and then you need to press the arrow that's pointing down here. Then you need to check 3D cursor, because by default in 2D animation workspace 3D cursor is disabled, but we need to enable that so we know where it is in 3D space. And once you enable this, that red like dotted line circle thing there on the middle, it appears. That's the 3D cursor. And this thing is actually one of the most important things that you're gonna end up using a lot, because wherever this 3D cursor is, this is where a new object will be placed in 3D space. So, diba, ang 3D cursor by default nasa world origin. Kung pupunta tayo sa object mode and magdadagdag ako ng another grease pencil object like the monkey, it puts it right there on the 3D cursor. But if the 3D cursor is like right here, did I change the... I'm gonna go back to object mode. Oh yeah, I forget. Nasanay ako sa right click select na left click ang ang lipat ng 3D cursor. But yeah, you can change to cursor mode right here. I'm gonna change the cursor mode so I can like reposition this cursor right here. So now that we're in like 3D cursor mode, if I left click anywhere, that's where the 3D cursor will go. And if I add another object, see, it puts it right where the 3D cursor is. So that's why the 3D cursor is like one of the things that you're gonna end up using a lot, because that's how you can reposition things. Besides, moving and putting the objects there. It also helps like place objects, from one position to another. So as you can see, for example, here, our monkey is right here. If we can actually move this monkey to the 3D cursor by pressing Shift S and then selecting selection to cursor offset. And as you can see, when I selected that, the monkey went to where the 3D cursor is. So again, if we want the monkey to be moved like a certain spot on a 3D space, you can also, like, if you want the 3D cursor to be back to the world center, the world origin, which is the center of the world, you can still press Shift S and then cursor to world origin, and that would just bring the cursor back to world origin right here. Or if you want your cursor to be back to whatever you selected, you can press Shift S and then cursor to selected, and then the cursor would be right on the middle of what is selected. So that's what the 3D cursor is. And what we're gonna do, that's why I introduced you to the 3D cursor, is that we are gonna use the 3D cursor's position. So kung nagtataka kayo bakit wala na sa select habang ginagawa nyo ito, it's because we're in the 3D cursor mode. You just have to go back to select mode to be able to select stuff again. So we have our hill right here, and we want to place a character just a little bit to the front of the hill right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the 3D cursor right here. So something like that. So it's pretty much there where it is. Now, what we need to do to be able to draw there is we need to go back to draw mode. So we can do this, or using the keyboard shortcut control tab to bring out the different modes. I'm gonna go to draw mode, and we're gonna set this one, the stroke placement, right up here to 3D cursor, and that makes it so that, you know, when we draw, the stroke will be placed right where the 3D cursor is. So right now we're in 3D cursor. I'm gonna go back to camera mode by pressing this, or pressing numpad 0 on the keyboard. You can do that. And I'm gonna draw a character here, just a sketch of a character. And since we set it to, you know, the stroke placement to be on the 3D cursor, you'll see later when I change angles here that it is placed where our 3D cursor is. So as you can see, it's aligned to the 3D cursor. So I did that so that we can do like a parallax thing, and you're gonna know what I mean in a few minutes. So we're gonna also do this for the Bilibili logo up here. We need to change the 3D cursor location to be right about somewhere probably pretty far, maybe right here. So I'm only gonna be doing this for the sketch, by the way, because for the final one I'm gonna be using a different object which I can independently move without affecting the others. So we have that. Now I'm gonna go back to draw mode, the pencil mode again, and we're just gonna quickly draw a really big Bilibili logo here. And since we still have this set to 3D cursor, it should draw to where the 3D cursor is. So you also have to keep in mind where you set this, because yeah, you're gonna wonder why your drawing is on a different position, and that's because you didn't really set this properly. So now that we have that, I can now do like a layout of how we're gonna be moving the camera. So I need the select box again because we're moving the cursor. So we have our scene here now sketched out. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna animate the camera, and to do that I'm gonna go right here, and I'm gonna set this from grease pencil to dope sheet. And I'm doing this so I can see the keyframes of the camera, because if this is set to grease pencil, we won't see a keyframe from the camera, because it will only show the keyframes for the grease pencil. So we need to go to dope sheet. Dope sheet will also show the grease pencil keyframes. So I think it's fine that we have the dope sheet turned on here instead of the grease pencil. Anyways, now that we have that in dope sheet, I'm gonna select the camera and I'm gonna press I, and this is how you actually add a keyframe in Blender. And I'm pretty sure this also works for the 2D grease pencil object. If I press I, no, I'm gonna control tab to draw mode maybe, and if I press I right here, yeah, this is how you insert keyframes. But this is something that I rarely use, by the way, because if you have auto keying on, if you make any changes to your animation, it will actually automatically add a keyframe. So I can even just go to edit mode here in the grease pencil, in this grease pencil object, select everything, and if I move it a bit, as you can see, it added a keyframe. If I move it and then press right click, it will just add a keyframe. And that's actually how I add keyframe here in Blender. I don't do the I thing. I mostly do that for 3D animation, which is what we're going to be doing for the camera, because camera is a 3D object. All of them are 3D objects actually. And all of them, not all of them, this is just one stroke object. That's why if I move this in object mode, everything moves. And that is why I'm going to be using a different grease pencil object for each of these elements here. This is only I'm doing this to demonstrate the stroke placement thing. And also, yeah, I'm gonna only be doing it on sketch. So animate ko na ang camera. Punta tayo sa object mode, and then I'm gonna press I, and I'm gonna add a keyframe for so when it comes to like adding a keyframe for a 3D object, there's so many options to choose from, but usually just selecting location, rotation, and scale is enough. Oh yeah, X is left and right, left to right. Y is front and back. Z is top and bottom. So yeah, that's what the different axes are in 3D space. Since we have auto keying on this one, if this is on, and by default it's on into the animation, if this is on, if we make any changes to the location, rotation, or anything of an object, it will save that as a keyframe. So since ginalaw natin ito, nakasave na to as keyframe because auto keying is on. And now if we move this to a different frame, like maybe to the very end of this frame, of this timeline right now our start frame is 1 and our end frame is 250. And I just went to the last frame, which is the 250th frame. So I'm gonna go up, since I did say that we're gonna be going up, and then we're gonna go forwards, revealing the TV. And we can make further animations later for this actually. Now that we did that, it added the keyframe automatically, and if we play this, it will actually show us what the scene is. So maybe you can already imagine what's happening here. Like I said, the scene will be, we follow this character. Our first character will be right here visible, and then we're gonna like animate it a little bit to go up, and the character will look at the Bilibili TV. And we can probably, I'm going to go and change the size of this. This seems to be, I'm in the edit mode. I selected the grease pencil object to do this, by the way, and then I press tab to quickly go to edit mode. You can go to edit mode by going here. These are different modes, and if I go to edit mode, I just do that. But it's quicker if I'm in the keyboard. I'm gonna try that size for the TV. Yeah, reveal the Bilibili TV there. Probably even move it to the left a bit. So as you can see, meron siyang parang parallax. Okay, so that's what our animation will be. So yan ang magiging position nila. Dito ang character, dito ang hill, and that's the Bilibili logo. So now we are going to create different objects for each of these elements of our animation. And we can do that by going to object mode. And then make sure that our collection here is selected, because if you selected whichever collection you selected here, that's where the new object will be added. So since we have collection selected, if we add an object, it will add that object inside this collection. So we can probably rename this collection to character, and that's where we're gonna be putting a character, our character 2D grease pencil object. So I'm gonna go and do something like this. I selected the stroke. I'm gonna tab to edit mode, and I'm gonna select this character right here by pressing like C. This is C to bring out this circle, or I think it's also right here. Oh, never mind. It's right here, I think. Select, and then select circle, maybe. Yeah, select circle, and then you can probably change the radius right here. We're not in... Yeah, dapat pala nasa ano tayo na material preview. Because if we're in like this one, the solid preview, it goes back to this white. And we don't want that. We want to be able to see what background we set here. And we can see that using the rendered view or the material preview. But you know, I think for 3D animation, it's fine to go rendered view. I'm pretty sure it's fine to do that, unless you know things suddenly lag for you, then just switch to material preview. But rendered view for 2D grease pencil is fine. You don't have to worry about setting it like that. In 3D it's different though, because sometimes rendered view, especially if you set it to like cycles, it becomes really heavy. And that's something you don't want. So what I did here is I tabbed to edit mode again, selected this using the circle select right here. You can probably long press this, you can long press this, long press left click, and then select the circle, and then change the radius right here. It's pretty easy to do with C though. Yeah, I'm gonna go bring it back to select box, and I'm just gonna use the C method. Anyways, I'm selecting this. I'm gonna press Shift S. I'm gonna select cursor to selected, and what that will do is it's gonna put the cursor right in the middle of whatever it is we selected. And since we selected this one, it put the cursor right there. So kung ano yung for example, kung isa-select ko rin itong hill, kung pipindutin ko Shift S and then cursor to selected, ilalagay niya ang cursor sa gitna ng dalawang to. Kasi yan ang gitna ng selected eh. So, since we want the cursor to be right where this sketch of the character is, dapat yung character lang naka-select, and then Shift S, cursor to selected. And nilagay ko ang cursor dyan kasi dyan ko gusto i-position yung character object. So, balik tayo sa object mode. From edit mode, I tab to go back to object mode. Or you can do that by just, if you're edit mode, go to object mode. And I'm gonna press Shift A. So, Shift A is, oh yeah, tama pala. Miss Nerdy, since you can't Shift A, you can do that. You can bring this out by selecting this add button right here. By pressing this add button up here. Wait, no! What did I do? Oh crap, what did I do? I accidentally pressed something, I don't know, but I think nothing happened. Nothing bad happened. We should be good. So, add, and then we can add a grease pencil object, and I usually add a blank one if I want to create a new drawing, because if you create a blank one, it would just create a blank grease pencil object. And if you want it to have stuff on it, you have to draw. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna draw. Punta tayo sa front view. Pwede natin taguin muna ang camera while doing this, ang drawing na part. And I'm gonna be doing a sketch of our character. And for the character, I'm just gonna draw something simple. Sketch ko muna. So we can also rename our grease pencil object that we added here. We rename this character. And we can start drawing a quick character here. We can also, I also want to do it in a way where I'm gonna go back to object mode and select stroke again, and I'm gonna change the opacity of this. Wait, yeah, I'm gonna change the opacity of this so that hindi siya ganun ka bagal. And then kasi kung nakikita nyo, pag gano'n yung selected na stroke, sa object mode, it becomes orange because, it outlines. That's actually an outline, an orange outline. It outlines the whatever is selected. So if select natin ang character, as you can see. And if you don't want to do that, if you want to preview things, you can press this show overlays button to hide the overlays, which is kung ano yung nakikita mo sa workspace if you're not rendering. This is like a rendered view. Kasi hindi nakikita itong orange. Para lang talaga yan sa, while you're editing. And I'm gonna turn it off so we can see how opaque we can get the stroke. And I just want it to be kinda less opaque para madrawing natin ng character. Makita natin yung lines ng character mismo. So I'm gonna go back to character object here. I'm gonna control tab or go to here and go to draw mode, and I'm gonna keep doing the sketch. I'm not gonna do it perfectly, of course. It's going to be like some weird proportions happening here. Yeah, we can actually make further changes later. I'm gonna show you. Let's just go and draw this real quick. And if the proportions aren't right, you can actually just tab to edit mode here, or go to edit mode, and then I'm gonna select the points select, only point select right here. And then parati kong pinipindot ang Q kasi nasanay ako na yun ang shortcut ko para dito. So actually, we're gonna do this something like that. I'm gonna go to edit, preferences. I'm just gonna change the keyboard shortcut here. I'm gonna go to key map, I think. Key binding right here. Or maybe name. Sa name lang. And then pinindot nyo lang ang Q. And then i-uncheck ko lang or delete ko itong quick favorites na shortcut because I don't really use it. So I'm gonna do that. Save the preferences. Why doesn't it auto-saves? It should auto-save. I'm gonna save that. Tinanggal ko lang yung kung ano yung naka-attach sa Q na keyboard shortcut. I'm gonna close this. And then I'm gonna right click on the show overlays right here. And I'm gonna press assign shortcut. And I'm gonna press Q. So I just assigned Q as the shortcut for this now. So if I press Q, I can quickly or easily hide and unhide the show overlays creators. So what I'm doing is, I'm selecting these points in my drawing to edit it. It's like I don't have to erase anything, trying to figure out proportions and stuff. What I can do during the sketch here is I can just move points to fix it, and to make the other points follow a bit, I'm gonna enable proportional editing, and I'm gonna check connected only. So I'm gonna go up like that, and I'm just gonna edit our character here, fix the proportions and stuff so that it looks nice. Just to edit it, make it look to fix the proportions. I mean, being able to do this is pretty amazing, right? Like, you don't have to redraw multiple times. If you want to fix the proportion because it's off, you can just actually manipulate the lines like this. So once again, G to move, R to rotate, and S to scale. Or you can use this buttons right here if you want to move. So yeah, you can move, then rotate. But then again, as you can see, it takes so much time to do this like this. That's why I'm using keyboard shortcuts. And that's why, Miss Nerdy, if you have buttons in your tablet, I also advise you to assign G, R, and S on those buttons so that you can move. Ang advisable ko talaga na buttons na i-assign mo sa tablet mo, if you have 6 buttons, really apply it on Shift, Control, and Alt, and then G, R, and S, I think, because those are the buttons that you'll usually press when you're navigating Blender. Yeah, that's our character, and I'm gonna show the camera again, and we can view our animation. So it's not exactly that of an animation yet, but this is more of a layout of an animation that we're gonna be doing, and we're gonna be focusing on just adding keyframes, the keys, instead of adding all of the other in-betweens and the extremes and stuff like that. You can probably add that if you want per practice, but for this, we're just gonna do the keys. So I'm gonna go and probably just doodle the hill. So for the hill, I'm gonna create another grease pencil object, but before doing that, I'm gonna right click on scene collection here, and I'm gonna add a new collection. I'm gonna click new collection so that we create a new folder. It's like a folder for each of the objects, and I'm gonna rename this hill. So I like to add each of the elements in their own folders kasi kung gusto kong maglagay ng iba pang characters, then I have a separate folder for each of the characters, and I have a separate folder for I'm probably gonna call this landscape instead. Landscape. And then in the landscape, I'm gonna add a grease pencil object. But before doing that, we need to position the cursor right there. And since we want it to be on the world origin, I'm gonna just Shift S, cursor to world origin, and we can now go add a blank grease pencil object. And for the hill, I'm gonna rename this hill. By the way, Miss Nerdy, di ba may tanong ka about panels? We can actually, I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna go to the edge of this properties panel. I'm gonna go to the edge, and I'm gonna close the outliner there, and we're gonna transfer the outliner to the other side right here. So I'm creating this new panel by just, you know, taking once again we go to the edge of this panel right here, wait for the this cross cursor to come out, and then you click and drag to create a new panel. And then right here on this editor type, or you know, this is how we change what's inside the panel. So editor type, we're gonna change this to outliner, so that now we have our outliner right here on the left, and it's bigger, it's clearer, and that's probably gonna be useful. I think that's what Miss Nerdy wanted to do. But anyways, like I said, I'm just gonna go doodle the hill. So I'm gonna go name this as line, because this is going to be, we're actually going to draw the line of the hill. And for the hill, we're gonna draw we're gonna change this to a ink pen. And for the hill, I'm just gonna go draw like a grass, like, you know, squiggly wigglies here. It's not really squiggly wigglies, but I'm kind of simulating the look of a grass. So that's our hill. And yeah, we are on the hill object, so we should be good. And that's our hill right there. So we have our hill, and then I'm also gonna immediately add the fill for this, which means I'm gonna add a new layer inside the grease pencil object, and I'm gonna call this fills. There we go. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go control, actually we're on the draw mode. I'm gonna go to the materials properties. By default, a new grease pencil object will have a black material, which is a stroke material, which is what we're using for the line right here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a new one. I'm gonna press this new button right here to create a new one, and call this fill or grass fill. And I'm gonna uncheck stroke, because this is not gonna be a stroke fill, this is gonna be a fill, it's not gonna be a stroke. And we're gonna change the color of the fill to green. So we can change that anytime later, and I'm like using this because yeah, we can change it easily. So yeah, I'm just gonna go do a fast one here, because we seem to be getting really late. So what I'm doing is I'm actually pressing Alt while drawing like this, and it's not visible because we're in rendered view, and it's actually only gonna be visible in material preview. That's why is that happening? Because we didn't. Oh crap! Never mind. Don't do that when you're still in pen mode. By the way, you need to, or draw mode. You need to be in fill mode, and then now we can do the Alt thing. So I'm pressing Alt right now while doing this. So I'm pressing Alt, and then I'm gonna draw over this whole area right here. And this is gonna make sure that this is a closed object. It's not an open object, because if it's open, we won't be able to do something like this. Because if it's open, Blender would just say it's open. We can't fill something that's not closed. And we did that so that we can easily fill this grass area right here. So we have that for the fill. Another trick that I'm gonna teach you guys, by the way, is that this fill right here, this can actually be changed as a texture, and we can actually open a texture of a grass so that we can actually make this into a grass. So I'm just gonna go to my textures here, HDRI. I'm pretty sure I have it on here, textures, and I'm gonna find a grass texture. So you can download this textures, by the way, for free from polyhaven.com. So if I type polyhaven, just type polyhaven, and it should show you polyhaven.com. And this is a place where you can download different assets, actually, textures, HDRIs, and yeah, you can just go to assets, textures, and you can find different textures here that you can use for either 3D or 2D. And that's what we're gonna do right now. Wait, Okay. So I'm just gonna go, yeah, polyhaven.com. You can download there for free. You can use them for any purpose, even if it's commercially. All the stuff you can download here is for free, no strings attached. You don't have to pay or anything. Just download. Don't even have to log in. Just download. So grass. I'm probably gonna get the ground one, forest ground. What does this look like again? Maybe this one. And that's probably not gonna add properly, isn't it? Yeah, sometimes some textures doesn't work, which is kind of a bummer. That's why I need to go and find a different one. Probably I'm gonna try the does this work? Yeah, it doesn't work. It becomes like a white for some reason. How about this? Nah, doesn't work as well. Let's try the grass one then. I don't understand why it doesn't work. It's still one of the things that I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm the one, but as you can see, this one is working. And I can reduce the blend. I can either make it the way the base color or the texture. Yeah, and we have a texture here right now, and we can manipulate a bunch of stuff about it. Can do that. Maybe scale it up a bit. Or, you know, I'm gonna press shift and then select this both and then just go and drag so that we have a grass texture right there. And probably gonna make it subtle. So you're gonna lean more to the base color right here. So as you can see, we have a grass right there very quickly. We don't have to paint or anything, just use the texture. Now, for the Bilibili logo, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select stroke again. And I'm gonna tab to edit mode. I'm pressing Alt A to deselect everything. You can press A to select everything, then Alt A to deselect everything. And I'm gonna press C again, or you can do the box select thing where you can just do something like this to select a point in your scene. I'm selecting the logo right now, so I'm gonna press Shift S cursor to select it, so that the 3D cursor goes to the one that we selected. And I'm doing this so that if I'm gonna be importing the Bilibili logo here, because we're just gonna be using an image, I'm gonna go File, Import, and yeah, you can't see it right now, but to enable it I need to go to Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, and I'm gonna search for image, and I'm gonna check this because that's the only thing that comes out. And this will allow us to import images as a 3D object in our scene. So I'm gonna go import, and now it's here, images planes. And I'm gonna go look for our Bilibili logo here, wherever I saved it. I'm pretty sure I saved it in product logo, Bilibili logo, and it's right here. So I'm just gonna select this white one. I think I'm gonna set it to shadeless. That's pretty much what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna go set that to shadeless and then import image as planes, and that should put the picture right where our 3D cursor is, right there. So I'm gonna uncheck auto keying for now so that we don't add any keyframes on this object while we're trying to we're putting it in the scene. So our stroke is like this. I can't really see it much on the viewport when I'm not selecting it because of the opacity. I can barely see it right there. So the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna animate this one, our character. So I'm just gonna select the character again. I can actually add another panel here. Let me just add another panel. And I'm gonna set this to 3D viewport. And I'm gonna make it to camera perspective. I'm gonna press T and N to, oh, never mind. I don't know how to hide this part, but we're just gonna go with something like that. Or maybe it's in overlays, or I don't know. How do you hide it, Jay? Like these guys? Because I don't know. But anyways, I'm gonna select the camera first, and I'm gonna go to the viewport display inside the object data properties of the camera, and I'm gonna set the passe part out to 1 so that, you know, it only shows what's inside the camera, what we can actually see. And I'm also gonna be setting this to, so I'm using middle mouse button to move this part right here, by the way. So middle mouse button, if you can see like this here, middle mouse button, like pressing the middle mouse button and then dragging. And I'm gonna set this to rendered so we can see the texture. So now I can animate this, the character, and we can like move away and we can still see what the camera is looking at right here. And now we can actually hide the camera right here. So I'm really not used to the camera, to the outliner being here. I like the outliner more on its original place. Right there. And I'm pressing home right here in this panel to, you know, if you press home, it like scales up the camera so that it fits the whole panel. Like that. And now we have a camera view and we have a viewport view. So we can start doing some animations. Just very quick animation. So the first frame, I want the character to be kind of visible up here. And then as the camera goes up, the character will be moving up as well. So I'm just gonna move it here. I need to bring the auto keying back on so automatic keyframes will be added. Like keyframes will automatically be added. And as you can see, it didn't save my edit here because I didn't have auto keying on. So maybe I'm gonna move it somewhere. I need that selected. Move this up a bit. I mean down a bit. So you know, just moving it to show. Something like that. Then I can probably have the character like kind of look up a bit. So that's gonna look weird. So there you go. And I can start doing some changes here. So maybe we can like, I'm just gonna go to draw mode here actually. What's happening? Do we have C? Yeah. I'm gonna go draw mode, and then I'm gonna wait. What's happening? Oh, we're in fill. Never mind. Need to go back to pen mode, and I'm pressing Control, and then just drawing over this to erase. And I'm probably gonna go here. We can kind of see the onion skin happening. I mean, if you're familiar with 2D animation, then you know about onion skinning, right? So we have an onion skin here. It shows our previous drawing right there, and the next frame, like the previous frame and the next frame. We can change the color of the onion skin, I think, by going here and then onion skinning, and then custom colors. Probably change it to something more visible. So after, we're gonna change that to a lighter blue. Before, we're gonna change it to a lighter yellow. So our before frame and then our after frame, our keyframe, like the keyframe before the keyframe we're at right now, and after. So now we can see that keyframe right there. We can even set the opacity of the onion skinning here. It's on the object data properties, like below. So now we can probably, this is the first keyframe, so we can probably what be happening here? Wait, I'm in ink pen right now. Oh crap. Yeah, you see, this is why we need to take note about the stroke placements, because I'm drawing there and I can't see my stroke, and that's because it's right there. Oh, looks like a bunch of stuff right there. Well, that's not good. Oh well, whatever. I can just delete that and stick to what we have here. And I have to actually have to set this back to origin to fix that, so that we're actually drawing on the origin and not on the 3D cursor. Origin of our object that's selected right now, that we're working on. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go change this to pencil actually. Pencil, pencil, pencil. And I'm just gonna go move the leg so that it copies this leg right here, because we're taking a step. So our leg, this leg is gonna go up like that. And the arm is probably gonna have to be animated as well, so that it's copying. It starts swinging, you know, as our character walks up the hill right here. So then we're also gonna be changing this one right here. I'm erasing. I'm doing the sketch first, and then we're just gonna doodle the outlines later. So before frame, I'm probably gonna go have this go like that, this other leg. Have this other leg right here. And now the arm, this other arm. I could probably make the arm not swing too much, because this is just a walk. But yeah, you know, I'm just showing some basics here. This is not gonna, if you're gonna try to animating takes more time to like plan and stuff. So just this is just a demonstration. I can definitely do more. And as you can see, in our camera, you can't exactly see the legs anymore. So maybe we don't have to animate that anymore. Unless, of course, you plan to change the zoom of the camera. But for in this case, we're not going to be changing anything. Whatever we get here is what we get. So now for the last frame, it's just a character looking up. So you can turn on onion skinning, I think, by turn it off by just you know, disabling the overlays. And I'm just gonna draw it in a way like that. So now we can add lines, and like I said, I'm just gonna be doodling the lines. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna name it lines. I added a new layer in the grease pencil object. I'm gonna start doing the lines. I'm gonna change the pen to ink pen, and each of this keyframe, I'm just gonna draw very jankily the outline. So I'm just gonna go with something like this. This is a fat. I'm gonna go control space, or we can go to 2D full canvas here. So we're actually looking at the canvas, like the whole thing, bigger. And we can focus more on just adding the lines. So this is gonna be like a... My original plan was to do it with my character, but since we're spending too much time now, I'm just gonna go and doodle like a white creature, white humanoid creature, walking up the hill, looking at the. This probably represents all of the, creators. So we're gonna do something like that. And draw. If you have any question, don't hesitate to ask on the chat. So there. Expand ko lang itong dope sheet dito sa baba. So next frame. I'm going to have to go back to 2D animation here and reduce the opacity of the sketch para hindi siya masyadong, it's not obstructing sa view. Then ang gagawin ko lang, actually, delete ko muna tong keyframe na to sa linya. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select tab to edit mode and do something like this para mapabilis ang ating gawa. And then move ko lang siya dyan sa kung saan yung sketch natin. And then delete ko itong dito na parts. And that part, we're gonna draw. Para hindi ko pa ulit-ulit na i-drawing yung ulo na part. So, yeah, dinelete ko lang yan. Then we can just go and start drawing. So you can already see how it can be applied on your drawings, I think. Or your own animations. I'm not using the mouse, I'm using a tablet. I can't draw like this using a mouse. I definitely can't. This is a tablet, and I am using a tablet with a keyboard. The kind of tablet that doesn't have a screen. Because I'm pretty sure, Miss Nerdy, you have a tablet that has a screen. And soon I might have, soon I'm gonna be having one of those as well. Thanks to Bilibili. Thank you, Bilibili. Yeah, I do have a tablet, but just not. It's a Wacom Intuos PTS2. It's just a kind of tablet that doesn't have a screen. A small tablet. One of those small tablets that doesn't have a screen. I'm using this tablet with a keyboard. I'm using it with the keyboard. And that's why I can do keyboard stuff. Okay, like that. And again, I'm gonna select this in edit mode and move it up here where our next keyframe is. This would just make it easy, make the head part consistent at least. I'm just deleting the parts that are no longer the same. And if we go back to 2D animation, I'm pretty sure, yeah, we still need to draw at least the back part here. So there you go. I don't think I need to draw the bottom part here. But tell you what, since we can, we'll just do it. Hindi na yata yan visible dyan na part eh. Wait. Balik tayo sa 2D animation. Yeah, hindi na siya visible. So I don't need to be too much detailed. Because, you don't really want to end up spending too much time drawing something that's not even going to be visible in your camera. That's also true for 3D animation, actually. It saves time to just, decide your like camera angle and shots beforehand, and it's actually really gonna save you a lot of time, like doing storyboards and stuff, which is something that you can do in Blender as well. I'm pretty sure there's a add-on now for storyboarding that's built in. This one, the storyboard tools. If you enable this, you can easily make storyboards in Blender, which is I'm gonna stream that if I'm making a new video. Right now I'm just re-editing some existing videos. But when I make a new animation, a new film, I'm gonna utilize that to the animation storyboarding features of Blender, and I'm also gonna teach you guys how to do it, how to use it. So what I'm gonna do is I went here to the other frame, and I'm just gonna move it like that. And then for the this frame, the frame looking up, I'm actually gonna draw a new one because this needs to be new. So as you can see, I actually did not even add any keyframe or anything. I just immediately draw, and it will just immediately delete previous strokes. I'm pretty sure that also works for other software. I'm not sure though, because I actually didn't really study 2D animation too much back then, because I don't have a proper software and a pen tablet to do it. But since Blender have the grease pencil, and since I already have a tablet, I started dabbling into it again. So I'm just gonna draw this part right here since it's not gonna be that visible. Okay, there we go. So that kind of completes our... Of course, we can add in-betweens to like enhance it even more. Probably even make it faster. Okay, now I can turn off sketch. We don't need sketch anymore. And this stroke right here. So we have our character walking up the hill. And then looking up. And now we can add the fill layer. So I'm adding a new layer. I'm gonna call it fill. And I'm going to start filling. So go back to draw mode. I'm gonna select fill mode, and I'm gonna make sure that we have actually a material here. See, we don't have a material. We only have a material for stroke. Now we're gonna add a new material for white fill. White fill. For this, we're just gonna go uncheck stroke, check fill, and then set this to white. And that's all. And then we can go back to draw mode and fill. If we manage to close the gaps of our character here, then we don't have to worry much about anything. Next frame. Okay, then that's pretty close. So yeah, just if we have a closed gap character, we can just keep filling up here and not worry about anything else. And that's already, since this part's not visible, I'm not even gonna bother filling that up. And for this one, we're gonna have to close the gaps, because if I try to fill right now, what, really, for real? No, I would say unable to fill unclosed areas. As you can see there, it won't fill because it's gonna say, no, you can't do that. This area is unclosed, and that means itong bukas na parts dito. Since bukas siya, if I try to fill, it will not do it because it's unclosed. And to close that, again, we're gonna press while in the fill tool, we're gonna press Alt, and I'm just gonna draw something like that to close it. Now this line right here, that's not gonna be visible on the render. So as you can see here, since this is the rendered view, that line is not visible, and we can actually just do something like that, and now it fills up. Now we have the white character having a nice fill right there. There you go. Now, another thing we can do here is, since look at the sky, it's gray. We want to have a sky, a nice sky there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna teach you guys how to add like HDRI for the sky. Like I said, to download an HDRI, you can go to Polyhaven as well, polyhaven.com. And as you can see, I'm gonna do something right here. You can just watch this video, the uploaded one soon, to see how I did it, if you can't follow right now. But yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press this yellow dot. I'm on the world properties right now, and I'm gonna press this yellow dot right here, and I'm gonna select environment texture. Now it's gonna be like this because we didn't set an image. So now we're gonna press this open, and we're gonna apply an HDRI here. Let me see. Let me pick something that's nice. Nice sky for this. There's actually a nice... Tell you what, just to demonstrate to you how to download an HDRI, we're actually gonna download a new one. So we're actually gonna go to... I'm opening up Polyhaven again. Polyhaven.com. Assets. I'm gonna select HDRIs right here. I'm gonna go to skies, and I'm pretty sure there's pure skies right now. See, there's so many great skies here, and recently they added this pure sky where it's just the sky and this nice, it's more focused on the sky. And I'm probably gonna pick something. I have this guy. I might download this. No, you can either pick the HDRI sky or draw the sky yourself, but I'm gonna demonstrate the HDRI sky for now. Maybe this one. I'm gonna download that one. You can actually select whether it's 4K. We want it to be HDR. I want it to be HDR. Yeah, HDR is smaller, and I'm just gonna download a 2K one, so it's quicker. I'm gonna download that, and it should just download. You don't have to do anything else because it's free. It's a free site. It's a site for free stuff. I'm gonna put it on. Wait, I need to put this in Files D, Pictures, HDRI. And we're just gonna paste it here. See, of course, you need to like make sure that you add it on a folder where that you can easily, you save it on a folder that you can easily find later. So we're gonna close that now, and we're gonna go look for that sky here. I have the folder bookmark so I can easily find the sky. And I believe the name of the sky is Kloofendal, which is this one. I'm gonna open that image, and you guys should be able to see. It's only visible in camera view, by the way, like this. Now there's actually more we need to do to manipulate its position, and we're gonna press like still in the world properties. We're gonna go to vector here, and I'm going to find. This is gonna be tricky, right here, because I usually do this in the shading mode, which probably should do. I'm gonna go add a workspace. I'm gonna go to general, and I'm gonna add shading. And this is actually a node thing, so it can probably be confusing. Let's try to do it without using nodes for now. So vector, I'm gonna go find mapping right there, and I'm gonna make sure that mapping is connected to a generated texture coordinate. There we go. But now, yeah. Wait, how does this look in the node 3? I'm not sure if I did it right. Let me just go to the node 3 here for a bit. Okay, I did do it right. Did I? No, the mapping is gone. Yeah, this is probably more confusing for you guys. You guys can probably just draw your sky or something. You know what? Let's just do that. Probably HDRI is too complicated for you guys for now. But yeah, we have this node set up right here. This is pretty much like the same as how we set it up here. But I'm gonna go Shift A, and I'm gonna add mapping. Drag and drop it there, and this is how you can manipulate the position of the cloud so that you can pick something that's actually great. Something like that, maybe. And there you go. Now we could preview the animation. Do something like that. But of course, you can also draw your own sky. If you have more questions about that, by the way, just feel free to PM me, Miss Nerdy or Pedro. If you want to be able to use sky like that. But then again, you probably guys would prefer it if you can draw. If you draw your skies yourselves. And that's, you know what? I'm also going to do that. Let's also draw a sky. So for the sky, which now kind of... Oh, never mind. Never mind. Never mind me saying it's only visible in camera view. It's actually visible in perspective view, but it won't be visible in orthographic view. So for the sky, what we can do is we're gonna add I'm gonna put the 3D cursor right here at the back, maybe farther away because it's a sky. And I'm gonna add a shift. I'm gonna go to the landscape collection, add a grease pencil, add a blank one. And what I'm gonna do for the sky is I'm gonna go add a I'm gonna change this black material to a fill, make it bluish, and make sure the alpha is 1 right here. And then I'm gonna go to draw mode, select the box, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna create a big box like this, and that will be the sky. But the problem with that is the picture is no longer visible because for some reason it always goes behind 2D grease pencil objects. I'm pretty sure the one way to fix it is by setting this to opaque. Yeah, but as you can see, if you set it to opaque, like the blend mode here, that happens. Or setting it to alpha hashed, I think. Yeah, because alpha blend just doesn't go well with grease pencil object right here on the blend mode. In the materials properties of this object, if this is set to alpha blend, it goes behind the grease pencil object. But if we maybe alpha clip also is great. Yeah, alpha clip, especially for images like this, doesn't usually work well for other images. There might be some visible black lines or something, but alpha clip works well right now. Okay, I can actually use something like that. Okay, we have a sky, and we can keep adding stuff to the sky. Let's rename that first, sky. And this is one last thing that I'm gonna be showing you guys before ending this. You know how I said we can't really decide. We don't have that much, you know, like, dang it. No, not that. We're gonna need to go back to frame 1. And I'm gonna add a new material here. Call this clouds. And this is just the color of white so that we can draw clouds. And I'm pretty sure the style, you can set it to texture. And do I have Carita installed? I probably don't have Carita installed. Yeah. I'm gonna do it in GIMP. We're gonna do something. Something that will help you add more, probably more like different textures to your brush. Wait. Because GIMP takes longer to open than Blender. Like Blender opens right away, but GIMP will load up a bunch of stuff. which is why I draw in Blender now. I'm just gonna show you something. I'm gonna go template. Let's go and find the template for textures if we can. So I really just want to show you guys this before ending this one. Looks like there's no templates for textures. There's a template for textures in Krita, but I don't have Krita installed right now. I'm gonna go with 1080 again. There's gotta be a square. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna grab, like, if you want a brush, like for Sir Pedro, if you want like a brush that you use in Krita to be, that you can use also in GIMP, this is probably the way to do it. What you can do is in Krita, you can create a texture, like a, you know, a 1:1 aspect ratio, something like this. And you can select the brush that you want to use. For this, we're gonna select this one and go really big, probably not too big. Just have it cover the whole thing. Now I'm pretty sure it works like this. And actually, I need to create a new layer. And we have to make sure that this is either black or white, I think. Or the color of whatever it is that we're going to be drawing. But I'm pretty sure black is already fine. Yeah, maybe that'll do. And then I'm going to go save this as a PNG somewhere. I'm going to go pictures. Do I have textures here? Now, this is actually something that I haven't done before yet, so I'm not exactly sure if this will work, but we're gonna test right now. So I'm gonna save this as a PNG file with an alpha background, and let's see if we can actually do something like this in Blender. So the stroke in the materials, the stroke, I've changed the style to texture, which will now allow us to open that thing that we just saved. The texture that we just saved right here. Open that, and I'm gonna see if this works. So now that we have that, if I draw, yeah, it does show the texture. Let me just add more radius. Yeah, the texture's right there. Unfortunately though, there we go. If we set the blend to 1, then we're gonna use the base color. Then we could just go and create clouds and stuff here. Control Z. I probably need to... Wait, does the radius affect the size? I don't think it does. So this is just an experiment actually, I'm not sure. Yeah, the radius doesn't affect the size. Texture pixel size per factor along the stroke. I'm gonna try to set this to a higher number. This might be the one. No, never mind. How about 1? It's gotta be 100. So I guess you do need to make the texture bigger. Or maybe I have to make this bigger. 1000. I'm gonna try 1000 radius. Oh, the size does affect, but it doesn't go too big. Yeah, but this is one way you can like experiment on the texture, I guess. But we're not gonna do that because it doesn't really look great. Oh no, I also deleted the... Yeah, probably not a good idea to use that for now. That's something that needs to be experimented on. But yeah, if you want a sky, you can just... Since it's a sky, you can probably paint it on Krita first. If you want, like, if you're used to like painting something in Krita with like different paintbrush. Or different other like software. But for now, I'm just gonna go very quickly create a cloud here. Do something like that. Just fill it up. Can I? Oh no, I need to make sure that we have a new material for the cloud as a fill. So I'm only doing it like this because it's easy to change colors. So I'm just gonna do something like that, and I am going to go and just copy paste it. Maybe even change its shape a bit, just to add variations, so I don't have to redraw anything. Just, you know, move around some vertices. Or you can use sculpt mode actually.
Hey, MJ, I'm just gonna pop out for a while.
Okay, I'm actually about to end after this. I'm like really close to the end, so maybe if you come back, we're not gonna be there anymore. So
Oh, I see.
yeah. Thanks for staying, by the way, Vincinity. If you're busy, you can definitely go. But yeah, I'm just gonna go and wrap this up by adding more clouds here. Or I can just use the HDRI. Okay, I'm gonna try sculpt mode now. We're just gonna go... Yeah, sculpt mode is probably better. Yeah, add a bit of variation. To the clouds. Let's see how that looks. It's kind of redundant now, isn't it? Just gonna look at this. Okay. Maybe we need to move the clouds. Towards the side more. So that it doesn't overlap Bilibili logo. There you go. Maybe. Right? Another thing we can do is I'm gonna go to the modifier properties here, selecting the cloud, and I'm gonna add a noise modifier. And that should make the clouds move a bit, as you can see. You can actually add one for the grass as well. Add a noise modifier. And that would also make the grass move. But kind of don't like it because it like separates the materials. Yeah, never mind that. Cancel that order. Maybe I can just do something like this. And there we go. Just a quick little scene that we did. Just moving the camera, revealing character walking up the hill, revealing the Bilibili. Now we can add more to this by going to our character here. I'm gonna go add effect. I'm gonna add rim. Now it's not visible because the rim color is yellow, and we have a white character there. We just have to make sure that we go to that and we set this to multiply maybe. That should give us the rim effect, which is kind of like a shading thing. A lazy way to shade. And we can also add... I'm gonna go to camera. I'm gonna shift A. Where's our 3D cursor? Now I want our 3D cursor to be on top here. And this is gonna help like add more to your scene by, you know, I'm gonna add light. I'm gonna add a point light. And well, I'm gonna turn off ko muna ang auto keying. And set ko lang tong point light to 5,000 siguro. And as you can see, it also affects the 2D layer. the light, the 3D light affects the 2D layer, and we can probably make that into yellow. And I can probably also add it behind the TV right here, so that there's kind of like a shine to it. So now, as you can see, the 3D light affected rin ang 2D objects. So you can have like really cool lighting effect. And then I can also even add, like, select natin ang sky. Punta tayo sa effect dito, visual effects properties. I'm gonna add blur. Lalagyan rin natin ng blur ang clouds para parang depth of field na effect. So let me just probably here, then zoom in the clouds here. We need to add more blurriness, maybe about 100 or 500. Yeah, but that kind of affects the Bilibili logo as well, doesn't it? I don't think blur is a good idea, but you can, that's something that you can do if you want. Yeah, napapabilis niya lang parang workflow. So you can either use our sky, drawn sky, or we can stick to our, we can use the, you know, this sky, the HDRI sky. Of course, as usual, if you wanna, like, kung masyado siyang mabagal, siguro gawin natin yung mga up to frame. Masyado siyang mabagal, I'm gonna select the camera and this character. Select ko lahat dito sa dope sheet and then scale ko pababa. Unlock ko muna ang line. Select lahat. And then probably delete the sketch now, para hindi nakakalito. And then mabilis, para mabilisan lang natin ng konti ang. And there you go. We have our quick scene, which we probably did in about an hour and a half or 2 hours. But then again, dito masyadong detailed na scene rin. Pero yan. And this is happening in like a 3D space. And you can definitely add more. But yeah, that is all that we can do for this session, I think. Any questions so far, everyone? We have this right here. So do you have any questions, guys, or is everything good? Of course, now that we have our scene set up here, we can add other things like a tree and everything by just, you know, creating another, either gawa kayo ng bagong layer dito or gawa ng bagong grease pencil na object and make it a tree, which we're not gonna do right now because I think it's getting late and you guys are probably busy and probably are planning to do other things tonight. But yeah, any questions so far? This is it. We decided a scene. We decided on a scene and added everything. But yeah, Kung mga details, then kayo na bahala kung paano nyo kung maglalagay kayo. Just apply the things that I've shown, and you can definitely do a lot of awesome things here. So there you go. There it is. It's so weird to move it like that. Okay, yeah, I think that's all for now. I am going to just yeah, introduce you guys one by one, by the way, because I do need to tell people. Thank you so much to those who are watching the stream, by the way, to everyone who's here in Bilibili. Thank you. I have just created this quick 2D animated, kind of not really that animated, but you know, like a 2D setup here in Blender, just to show my fellow Bilibili animators what, you know, how to use this thing, so that they can also, you know, utilize this tool to help them in their content. And yeah, I am joined right now by Miss Nerdy from NerdyStudios, Pedro P Pedro Pinduco from Pedro P Animation, and animate, which I'm pretty sure you can also just look for. Wait, tama ba? Tama ba? Ano ang space mo? Wiz? Animate, diba? Jerwizz? Dito sa Bilibili? I have to follow you then. Haven't been following you yet. There we go. Jerwizz and NerdyStudio. Just search for it here on Bilibili. You'll find their spaces here, and Pedro P Animation, and also Jstudioph. Jstudioph. So follow these guys. They're also Bilibili content creators like myself, and we, all of us, are hoping to have a really great future here. And yeah, I'm just hoping that what I taught here will also help in that journey, because it's definitely helping me with my journey. But yeah, I am going to end this stream right here, and then I'm just gonna be talking to my fellow creators here about stuff they want to know. But yeah, I'm gonna end. This is the end of the stream. I managed to create a quick animated something here. I still am afraid to call it like an actual 2D animation, because I mean, we did kind of made a 2D animation here, but this is just like the keyframing stage of an animation, which is something that is actually enough for like many different kinds of contents. This is something that I actually do myself, and in a way, this is also a 2D animation. But of course, anyone can go further with the 2D animation. It's just that as content creators, that's something we can't do sometimes, because sometimes we are pressed for time and we don't have enough time to actually refine things or add more like frames to an animation. But yeah, using Blender, you can probably like fix that by doing some tricks, like adding the different modifiers and whatnot. And I can even like add, like for this character right here, I'm gonna add a noise modifier so that it doesn't look like it stops. Like there's actually some kind of motion to the character. So as you can see, I just added a noise modifier and it suddenly have like a little bit of like a motion to it. It's moving around a bit. I'm probably also gonna add something for the thickness. And it already, you know, it adds a bit of life, a bit more life. Probably gonna also add the thickness for the grass here, and then even make the cloud movement more intense. So there, as you can see, now it's got a bit more life by adding that noise modifier. That noise modifier always is something great. As you can see, the character doesn't seem like it's static. It's got a bit of movement to it. And I think that will be useful for you guys. But yeah, I'm gonna end the stream right here. Thank you so much for those who watched the stream. Z3D, thank you. And thanks for liking the room. Every welcome. I am now going to say goodbye to the stream here in Bilibili. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. As again, follow NerdyStudio, Pedro P Animation, Jstudioph, and Jerwizz on Bilibili. Yeah. That's fine. I can't do that as well, Z3D. It's not even a smooth animation, isn't it? It's just a few frames. But anyways, yeah, I do hope that I did manage to, you know, share something new to you guys. Yeah, for now, this is it. For the streamers, for the for the ones who are watching here on Bilibili. I'll be back with more streams tomorrow probably, and it's not gonna be on this time anymore. I have my usual schedule is at 1 p.m. for my animation space, and I have a gaming space, and I also stream there. But for now, this is it for today. I'm probably gonna be conducting sessions like this every month or every other month, and just teaching fellow creators anything. If you guys are interested, we can probably do another one, but tackling a different topic. But yeah, for now, this is it. 2D animation in Blender with fellow Bilibili creators. I am going to end this now. Thanks for watching. My name is MJ Vilches, and yeah, see you on the next stream, guys. Goodbye.